Welcome to YOGALATES with SJ and to the stretch break at work. So all you need is some kind of chair for this. It might be your office chair or a Swiss ball, maybe just a regular chair or even a couch. We are sitting up really tall here, and then we're bringing the chin to chest, tucking the tailbone under, and then inhale as you come back up, lengthening up and rolling the shoulders down and away from the ears. And then you're rounding the spine, chin to chest, tucking the tailbone. And then inhale as you find length again, drawing all the way up from the tailbone out the top of the head. And then you are rounding back, tucking that tailbone, rounding the shoulders forward, and then finding length again into the spine. Just keeping this going. And as you continue here, finding a deep breath in as you come up, opening the heart towards the ceiling, and exhaling, bringing the belly button back towards the spine as you round the spine, finding that nice C shape into the spine. Nice work. Relaxing the muscles of the face, relaxing the jaw, bringing your mind to notice the connection of the feet on the floor, grounding the feet down, and inhale, coming up. Exhale as you release the arms down by your sides. Now inhale, reaching the arms up overhead, finding length into the spine. You're crossing the right arm over the left, and you can either stay here or you can start to bring the back of the hands together, bending into the elbows, or maybe the palms come together and we are starting to bring the back of the shoulders forward. So you are bringing the hands to be directly in front of the face. You are lifting the elbows up slightly here, and we are finding a really, really nice shoulder stretch, as well as getting into the upper back, sitting up really tall and starting to press the elbows even further forward. And you are finding length into the back of the neck, a little bit of space between the chin and the chest, so we are keeping length into the neck, the throat, breathing deeply in and fully out, and then unraveling and opening the arms out, palms facing forward, and then switching the cross of the arms. So you are either just bringing the left arm to cross in front of the right, or you are starting to take the bind. So bringing the elbows to bend and back of the hands come together, or maybe you are bringing the palms together and letting the front side of those shoulders draw forward, the elbows draw forward, and you are slightly lifting the elbows up and finding that length from the tailbone all the way out the top of the head. And then unravel, starting to open the arms out, palms facing forward, sweeping the arms forward and back out again. And then you are starting to straighten the legs. So you're going to flex the toes back towards your face, lengthening up into the spine, bringing the arms up overhead, palms facing inward, and then you're hinging forward at the hips, keeping a long line into the spine, and then you are starting to fold all the way down towards the legs. So you can either just let the arms rest somewhere on the legs, or maybe you are grabbing hold of the feet, maybe grabbing hold of the toes or the ankles, or maybe you are just letting the arms float down. So we are letting the head come towards the top of the knees, and we are just taking some really deep breaths here. So as you inhale and feeling the belly pressing into the top of the legs, and as you exhale, just starting to allow the lower back to relax, the hips relaxing, the thighs, everything softening down. Head is heavy, back of the neck releasing, letting any tension come all the way out the top of the head down into the earth. Awesome job. Keeping your breathing going. So finding even more of a breath in. So you're really sending full oxygen. So using the entire lung capacity to completely re-energize and sending that oxygen to the brain, to every single cell throughout the body. And inhale, finding a little lift up, and then exhale as you float back down, letting the head come back down. Inhale, finding a little bit of a flat back here. Exhale as you float back down, just letting the head come down, arms soften down. Ragdoll the head and neck. Releasing, and then inhale, finding that flat back again. Exhale, using your core to draw you all the way back up, coming up to sit up tall. And then we're starting to find a figure 4. So you're crossing the right outside of the ankle in front of the left knee, and then you are lengthening up into the spine, rolling the shoulders up, releasing the shoulders down, and then on an inhale, lengthening into the spine, and as you exhale, you're starting to hinge forward at the hips and you are folding forward. So you can either just come to a little way forward, so maybe holding on to the leg, or you might find that the whole body folds all the way over that leg, whichever feels better for you. So just coming into a stretch where you can really feel this, but you can still breathe really deeply, finding your breath. Inhale in, exhale out, and then let's come all the way up. So just taking your time to come up, lengthening up into the spine, and taking the outside of the left ankle, crossing it in front of the right knee, maybe placing a little bit of weight down on the inside of that left knee, finding that that might be enough of a stretch into the hip, or you might start to lengthen up into the spine as you inhale, and as you exhale, finding a hinge forward at the hips and folding forward over the legs. So just taking a moment here. It doesn't need to be a full fold forward. This is all about being able to breathe really deeply and just finding a stretch that feels challenging, so you can feel the stretch, but also at the same time it isn't restricting your breathing. So finding those deep breaths in through the nose, sending that oxygen all the way to the brain, to every cell throughout the body, giving the body everything it needs, giving the mind everything it needs, and then exhale, 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 releasing, letting go all of the tension, releasing out the top of the head down into the earth. Head is heavy, arms are heavy. And then when you're ready, inhale as you start to roll the spine, coming all the way back up, sitting up tall and uncross the legs. And then we are starting to just find that length into the spine. You're just starting to lift the heels up and lower the heels back down. And then we are pedaling out the feet. So you're just alternating from side to side with this. One heel lifts as the other heel lowers. Maybe you might do a double on each side. So just lifting, lifting, and lowering, lowering. And maybe you might just let the shoulders come up towards the ears, releasing the shoulders back and down, and keeping length here into the spine. And then you are starting to flex the toes back towards your face and pressing the heels into the earth. And then you are rolling the whole foot all the way down, and then you're lifting both heels up and then lowering both heels down. And then we are staying here, finding that connection of both feet onto the floor. Now you are sweeping the arms behind you and interlacing the fingers, pressing the back of the hands down as you start to find length into the spine. Shoulders come down and away from the ears, bringing the hands further back behind you as you start to lift the gaze. So finding the head coming back, some length into the front side of the throat, relaxing the back of the neck, relaxing the shoulders, and then inhale as you bring the head back through center, keeping the arms where they are and gazing over the right shoulder, and then inhale coming back through center, keeping that length into the spine. Exhale as you gaze over the left shoulder, and inhale coming back through center and keeping that length into the spine. And then you are releasing the bind, so letting the arms come forward, opening the arms out, and then the biggest hug you have had all day, wrapping the arms around. And then we are keeping length into the spine, and you're gazing over the left shoulder, so keeping everything else still lengthened up here. Hips are square, and then inhale as you lengthen up even more from the tailbone out the top of the head. Exhale as the gaze comes over the right shoulder, and inhale, lengthening up. Exhale as you let the head float back through center. And then we are switching the cross of the arms, so we are hugging those arms around again, Soft engagement into the core, keeping length into the spine, and you're starting to lift the gaze up and then letting the head come all the way around, gazing over one shoulder and then bringing the head all the way to gaze up again. Back of the head comes back and then gazing over the other shoulder. So just finding kind of a little rainbow with this. You are letting the back of that head really relax backwards, but you're keeping length into the spine, so you can notice that long line from the tailbone all the way out the top of the head. Nice. And then coming all the way back through center, just rolling the shoulders up, releasing the shoulders down, finding length here, reaching the right fingertips down, or you might press the hand into your chair, lengthening that left arm up and over. So we're almost imagining that we're coming up towards the ceiling with that long line, and then you are gazing underneath that left armpit or up towards the hand, and then you are coming up and over the other way. So keeping both hips grounded down, the tailbone is grounded down, and you are finding that nice stretch on the other side. And then coming back through center, and we're going to find a bit of movement into the spine. So just bringing the hands onto the front side of the knees, and then you are bringing the chin to chest as you start to then lift the gaze, shifting forward from the hips, and you are looking up towards the ceiling, finding an openness through the front side of the throat, and then rounding back. So bringing the chin to chest, tucking the tailbone under, belly button comes back towards the spine, and then inhale, softly bending into the elbows, lifting the gaze, heart comes up, exhale as you find that C shape into the spine. Keeping this going so you can flow with this as much as you like, really getting into that lower back, getting into the entire spine. So important to look after the spine. You're going to feel so good after this. Such a good practice to do at work or at whenever you're sitting for any length of time, maybe even if you're on a plane or you're just needing to sit in the car for any length of time. And then you can reverse this if you want to, coming all the way back the other way, and seeing if you can flow from one into the next, so one circle into the next. Maybe you might find yourself coming even further forward each time as the hips start to release, as everything starts to flow a little more freely, finding some deeper breaths in through the nose and maybe releasing them out the mouth. A really nice way to energetically release any tension, any stress that's built up within the body, using your breath to just sigh it out. Inhale and exhale, letting it go. Folding forward. Inhale, finding some length. Exhale, hinging at the hips. Release, letting it go. Nice work, flowing freely. And then when you're ready, we are finally finding a forward fold here. So just letting the feet come out a little bit wider. Maybe the toes are slightly turned out, heels slightly turned in. Any position that feels good, just letting the head relax down, maybe a nod of the head, yes, a shake of the head, no. Letting the arms float down, letting the head be heavy, the back of the neck releasing, everything releasing down here, just finding a beautiful rest. And maybe you might bring the feet out even wider as you start to release further down into this. So finding as you breathe in, the belly button starts to expand like a balloon. And as you breathe out, sending that breath all the way to the base of the spine, lengthening the tailbone back as you allow the heart, the head, the arms, everything else to soften down towards the earth. Just letting everything hang heavy. Any movement here into the head and neck that feels amazing. Just taking some cleansing breaths in through the nose, out the nose or mouth, maybe sighing it out, maybe just letting it all go. This is so amazing for re-energizing, for letting go of any tension, as well as physically really getting into every single muscle here. Nice. When you're ready, we're coming all the way back up to a seat, and we are just starting to flow the arms. So sweeping the arms up and over one way and then the other, letting the gaze follow the arms. So sitting up really tall, inhale as you sweep the arm up, exhale as you float the arm down, and then coming to the other side. Beautiful work, keeping a soft engagement of the core. And then if you want to, guys, you can find an inversion, which is going to be some kind of upside down position to be in. So you can either just lay up against a wall and have the legs coming up the wall, relaxing the legs up the wall. You might do what I'm doing here and just let the legs come up over the back of the chair, and taking some time to find whatever feels comfortable with this. It might be to have the legs over the outside of your chair to the outside edges and just letting the legs relax down. And it might be to come all the way off of your chair and just to have your legs relaxing onto the chair. So laying down on the floor and just having the legs supported by your chair. So anything at all that feels good, just taking some time here. This is incredible for releasing all of the goodness back towards all of the vital organs. It is also amazing if you have been standing at all as well, if you've been on your feet. But this is just very good for stress, anxiety, anything like that. So it just makes you feel awesome to have the heart above the head. You can stay here for as long as you like, guys, before going about the rest of your day. It was absolutely amazing to have you join me. I invite you to come back to this practice anytime that you feel to. If you've been sitting for any length of time, you may even make it a regular practice that you do each day at work. Really great opportunity to get your yoga stretch in for the day. Take care, guys. Have the best rest of your day. See you soon.